Go back to a bipartisan conference committee. It seems most lawmakers like the concept of health insurance for everyone. How to pay for it, with the pressure of an election coming up, is pressure that's making lawmakers feel a bit feverish.
Members are under pressure from people back home. There's no question that doctors and hospitals would rather that we put new money into the healthcare system rather than perform economies within existing healthcare expenditure. That was to be expected.
Well, because the House and the Senate version are different, the bill will go to a conference committee. A tough negotiating session is expected to get underway on Monday to hammer out a final version.
Very comprehensive. You touched on everything except one issue, which you've mentioned before. The governor has already said he will veto this bill if it has any general tax increases. If it does, and he does, are there enough votes to override?
I don't know. The conference committee promises that it will work with the governor to come up with a bill he'll like.
Okay. Well, we'll continue tonight in just a moment and tell you about a new twist in the Bruce Breniser murder case.
Now it appears a family member could be used as a prime witness against Breniser. The story in a moment.
For 9 incredible days, just $49 down, delivers at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth. $49 down delivers a new Sundance for $159 a month. $49 down delivers a new Voyager with automatic transmission for $279 a month. $49 down will even deliver a 91 Hyundai Excel for $129 a month. But that's not all. Your first payment won't be due for 90 days on any new or late model used cars sold this week. So hurry to Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth, where just $49 down delivers.
Most of us listen to 2 or 3 radio stations every day. One to start the day, and one to go to spend the day. WLTE Light FM 103. Perfect for spending the day. To have on at work, keep you company at home, to unwind in the car.
Soft as an easy chair.
Soft light music, less talk, so you can spend the day. This is the one. Light FM 103, WLTE.
They say everything has its price. At Old Country Buffet, this is it. Simple, isn't it? Old Country Buffet. The only thing better than our food is what you pay for it.
If you want a truck that's quick, if you want a truck that's the latest style, if you want a truck that's the best looking, see your Vikingland GMC truck dealer. If you want a truck that's a great value, if you want an all-wheel drive family van, now get cash back or GMAC finance rates as low as 6.9% APR on select models. Then be sure to see your Vikingland GMC truck dealer today.
A temporary restraining order is preventing Polk County authorities from opening police files to the public on the Bruce Breniser murder case. You may recall he's the 16-year-old Cushing, Wisconsin boy who was charged with the murders of 5 members of his family last year. Tonight, Susan Austin reports on an interesting new development in this case.
It was revealed today that Bruce Breniser's 17-year-old stepbrother helped hide the bodies and clean up the crime scene. Police say it was here at the family's trailer home that each victim was shot in the head. They include Breniser's father, his father's girlfriend, and her 3 children. Their charred remains were later discovered in the family car in a patch of woods about 3 miles from their home. Polk County authorities say Breniser's stepbrother could have been charged as an accessory to murder, but last May they decided to offer him immunity in exchange for his testimony. To have done otherwise, they say, would have put the public at risk.
We were quite concerned that with this individual still at large, potential witnesses would be endangered in terms of death or bodily harm. The community also was at risk, and the possibility existed that evidence would be destroyed.
Biller says he still believes the immunity agreement makes sense. Police files scheduled to be released today would have provided a chronology of events as well as more gruesome details about the crime. But at the last minute, a court order prevented the documents from being released.
What we have intended to do, what we'd like to do, is to release the entire case file so that those pieces can be brought together so that people will be able to make sense. Not only the press, but the public can make sense out of the investigation.
Bruce Breniser's public defender convinced a judge this morning that releasing the file would jeopardize his client's chance of a fair trial. However, much of the information will be made public next week when the Polk County District Attorney files a criminal complaint against Breniser, charging him as an adult with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Susan Austin, Primetime News.
And it was just 2 days ago that the Wisconsin Supreme Court turned down an appeal to keep Breniser from being tried as an adult.
Well, leaders of the black community are angry but not surprised by a grand jury decision not to indict the police officers involved in the February shooting of Theodore Bobo. Matthew Little, president of the Minneapolis NAACP, says without black representation on the grand jury, justice cannot be served. Bobo was shot to death by 5 police officers on February 9th when he held his ex-girlfriend at knife point. The Hennepin County grand jury, made up of all whites, ruled yesterday that the officers did what they had to do.
No time have they brought a bill against policemen regardless of what the provocation was when it involved an African American.
Little and other black leaders are calling on Minneapolis Police Chief John Locks to review the police policy for deadly force.
Maureen, murder charges have been filed against a suspected drug dealer in the execution of a Northwest Airlines mechanic named Perry Paginen. Paginen had been missing for nearly a year when his body was found last weekend in a trash bin that had been dumped in a wooded area in Orono. Hennepin County Sheriff Don Omat said today that Paginen had become addicted to crack and that the man who killed him, according to the sheriff, is the same man who supplied him with crack, Ian Garfield James. James allegedly took to using a car that Paginen had rented and refused to return it. The rental car company eventually reported it stolen, and last May, James was arrested in that car. That arrest, says the sheriff, became a death sentence for Perry Paginen.
The defendant was under the impression that it was Paginen himself who had reported the automobile stolen. And the defendant was reported to have stated that he would kill Paginen because he had reported the car stolen.
Sheriff Omat says that Paginen, or Pagin as he pronounces its death, is the ultimate tragic example of what can happen once a person starts down a dangerous and often deadly road of using drugs.
Well, the Fridley lawyer, who's accused of conning his clients out of nearly $500,000, has pled guilty. Mark Allen Sampson admitted in court today that he defrauded his clients by using money he was supposed to be holding in trust for them to pay his own bills. Sampson could be sentenced to as long as 18 years in prison and a fine of more than $750,000.
Well, despite pressure from environmentalists, the University of Minnesota made a surprise announcement today.
The Board of Regents, after due and thorough consideration and deliberation, finds and concludes that the contract offer of Foster Wheeler best meets the stated objectives and serves the long-term interests of the University of Minnesota.
By choosing the New Jersey company to heat their campus, the university will expand its southeast plant and continue to use coal as its energy source. But Regents say the Foster Wheeler plan also offers them the option to switch to a safer material within the decade. Environmental groups say that coal creates carbon dioxide, which feeds the greenhouse effect and threatens all of us. The contract is worth more than $700 million to the heating vendor.
Well, the snow plowing is still underway in many parts of the state as a spring storm swept across Minnesota. Rush hour traffic was messy early this morning in many parts of the Twin Cities. Traffic was slow and many cars had to be pulled out of ditches. Most of the snow was spread across northwestern and central Minnesota overnight. Overall, as much as 10 inches fell in Pinch City. Here in the Twin Cities, we got just under 1 inch. Joe will join us next with the first look at your weather forecast.
It's gonna be here somewhere. I thought it was right here. Where's that stud?
If you're going to do it yourself, start out at the spring sale. Get this Makita cordless VSR drill, Vermont American's drill bit set, and Pennzoil 30-weight motor oil.
You've got a lot more going for you with Hank. Hardware Hank.
Now you can play baseball anytime, any place. Introducing Baseball, the newest instant game from the Minnesota State Lottery. Just scratch 9 innings and you could win up to $9,000.
With our new Celebration Sampler, you get a dozen ways to celebrate.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Chi-Chi's Celebration Sampler comes with a chimichanga, taco, enchilada, plus 7-piece dessert plate. At $7.99, it's worth celebrating.
Chi-Chi's celebration of food.
Contact herbicides only work for one day, the day you spray. But weeds can come back, so check out Banvel, the only post-emerge, no atrazine alternative that works from day one. Spray it at spike for residual control of the toughest broadleaves all the way to canopy, with no second flushes. So don't settle for one-day control. Get control from day one with Banvel.
Well, probably no one was more surprised to wake up and find a blanket of snow than the weatherman. What happened, Joe?
It wasn't real pleasant. The cold air made it farther south than we thought it would, so some places, like we said, Pine City ended up with around 10 inches of snow out there. No snow being reported right now. Radar is still picking up some light rain or drizzle in the western part of the metro. As you get over toward Carver County, down into Scott County, they're seeing some of that too, and it's all drifting to the east-southeast at around 30 to 35 miles per hour. So we'll have to deal with some of the light drizzle as we go through the night. Temperatures hovering around freezing. Could end up with a few slick spots out there and maybe some areas seeing some freezing drizzle. Let's get a look at the almanac for the day. 45 degrees, that was the high. The low temperature was 35. No, I don't believe that is the right one. We'll check that for you after. The precip for the day, we had just over 1/4 of an inch of rain and we had 6/10 of an inch of snow, or the 1/4 inch rather was the melted snow and rain together. As far as other snow depths and snow amounts across the area today, like I said, just over 1/2 inch in the Twin Cities, Pine City 10 inches, 6 inches into St. Cloud. Alex had 8 inches, just 3 inches in Duluth, so the amounts were lower as you went north, right across the central part of the state. That's where we had some of the heavier amounts of snow. As far as those high temperatures today, with the snow and the clouds and the rain really keeping things down, 40s across the southern part of the state, 44 Rochester, we had 35 here in the cities for the afternoon high, 33 degrees the temperature for the high into St. Cloud for the day, 20s to the north. Here's our forecast now for tonight. Looking for mostly cloudy skies across the metro. Just a few showers possible late or some drizzle out there. Low temperature should be holding pretty much right around where it is right now in the lower to the mid-30s across the area. So, Gary, the only thing we've got to really worry about tonight is the possibility of a few slick spots out there with the temperatures being right around freezing.
Okay, at least we're forewarned.
That's
Thank you, Joe. Turning our attention to medical news now, the Food and Drug Administration is checking out claims that over-the-counter acne drugs may not be safe. Recent studies have found that the ingredient benzoyl peroxide, which is used in a variety of the medications, has caused tumors in laboratory mice. The FDA is trying to decide what to do with the acne creams until its investigation is finished, and it may take 4 years to determine if the products pose a health risk to human beings.
Another medication used to fight acne may soon be approved to help people battle wrinkles. Proponents of the controversial Retin-A claim the prescription drug smooths away wrinkles and repairs skin damage caused by the sun. But opponents say its drawbacks should convince the FDA to keep Retin-A off store shelves. Jeff Levine has more.
Your face looks very, very good.
Sharon Kirk believes one of the reasons for her smooth complexion is that she uses Retin-A to treat facial wrinkles. The 39-year-old started applying the medicine 3 years ago.
Some of my wrinkles have disappeared. My skin feels better. It looks better. It even takes a different color.
Retin-A was approved by the Food and Drug Administration for treating acne in 1971, but it's widely prescribed as a remedy for wrinkles and sun-damaged skin. Doctors have considerable freedom in determining how drugs are used. Now an advisory panel to the FDA has voted unanimously to recommend Retin-A as a treatment for fine wrinkles, sun damage, and roughness of the skin. If ultimately approved by the FDA, there would be a new version of Retin-A specifically for wrinkles. The drug is a synthetic version of vitamin A. Dr. Mervyn Elgart commonly prescribes Retin-A to his patients for wrinkles.
This is not a fountain of youth. You cannot reverse gravity, and you cannot reverse time, but you can reverse sun damage.
Whatever the drug may do for wrinkles, it does have side effects. Users sunburn easily. Treated skin can swell and peel away, as well as become irritated. Sharon Kirk says her side effects disappeared after a time, and that the pain was worth the gain.
It makes me feel better about myself. It's not a major action to try to change the way I look, but it's a way for me to maintain the way that I look.
Currently, insurance companies don't reimburse patients who use Retin-A for wrinkles, and at about $30 a tube, the cost adds up. FDA approval for this new use would lead to insurance coverage. The Drug Advisory Panel noted that Retin-A does not prevent wrinkles. It's simply a treatment that improves appearance. Jeff Levine, CNN Medical News, Washington.
President Bush has given Wisconsin the go-ahead to cut payments to welfare mothers. The controversial plan is designed to discourage teenage moms from having more babies in order to increase the amount of their welfare checks. Under the plan, payments would be capped following the birth of a second child. Today, Bush praised Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson for paving the way.
We are glad that this administration has also taken a leadership role in making it easier, Tommy, for states like yours to innovate, to help people get off the dependency of welfare. And we respect you for what you're doing. And I'm glad that this action that we're taking will facilitate the implementation of your plan. And it'll be a good example for the rest of the country. We can all learn from that. All the states can learn from it.
Now, critics say the plan will hurt mothers and children, but Thompson says it will encourage teenagers to stay in high school and get better paying jobs.
As we continue tonight, we'll turn our attention to world news. Our World Compass report beginning in Great Britain, where more violence has broken out after the general elections.
And a new report of the U.S. involvement in the Gulf War turns out to be a critical report. The story as Primetime News continues.
For 9 incredible days, just $49 down, delivers at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth. 49 down delivers a new Sundance for $159 a month. 49 down delivers a new Voyager with automatic transmission for $279 a month. 49 down will even deliver a 91 Hyundai Excel for $129 a month. But that's not all. Your first payment won't be due for 90 days on any new or late model used cars sold this week. So hurry to Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth, where just $49 down delivers.
This is Maaco's Ambassador Paint Service. Just $189. We professionally prepare your car. We chemically clean it, surface sand it, and give it a high-grade oven-baked enamel finish from over 7,000 colors, all backed in writing at over 400 centers coast to coast. Maaco's Ambassador Paint Service, the best value for your money. Just $189. If you want high-quality work for this kind of price, you better get Maaco.
Gasolines, but only one that drivers rate the highest quality. Amoco Ultimate. It's as good as gold.
London is trying to recover from a series of terrorist bombings at this hour. That story leads our World Compass report tonight. At least 2 people were killed, dozens more injured when 4 explosions tore through the city's financial district. The bombings come one day after Britain's national elections. Rick Salinger reports on whether the balloting is linked to the bombings and who may be responsible.
The blast occurred in the heart of the city of London, the financial district. It caused heavy damage to a building located near the London Stock Exchange. There were fatalities and dozens injured. Among those hurt were employees at a bank. Many workers in the area had stayed late to go to pubs to celebrate the Conservative Party victory in the general election.
We heard the explosion. We were in a bar. And the whole place shook. We heard it. And the whole place shook under our feet. We came out. Didn't know what was going on.
The area was cordoned off. A search conducted for other possible bombs. Police said the blast occurred in a vehicle shortly after a warning was received.
We received a telephone call at 5 to 9 this evening that there was a bomb in the stock exchange. We evacuated the area and started to evacuate the stock exchange when an explosion happened at 20 past 9 this evening.
Police said the caller used a code word used in the past by the Irish Republican Army. The IRA has claimed responsibility for a series of bomb blasts leading up to the elections. In the polling, Jerry Adams, the president